Welcome to another episode of the Rotator Cuff Expert. I'm Dr. Orcutt, and please check us out here on the YouTube channel. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and put any comments down below. I love comments. Comments helps me to decide what our next topic will be. And actually, this is a topic that's been asked a bunch of times in the comments, so hopefully I can clarify it today. Again, Rotator Cuff Expert, you know that because that's where you are now. Also, our website, mybodyprotector.com, also has additional information, additional insights on that website. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why a biceps tenotomy is not as good as a biceps tenodesis. So when we're talking about the biceps, right, we're talking specifically the biceps is going to go up into your shoulder joint, right? So there's 2 biceps tendons. And that's why it's called a biceps, right? 2 biceps tendon that comes up into your shoulder. One comes across here and attaches to a little bony nub they call the coracoid. So the coracoid in that attachment to that tendon is almost never detached. It can be in certain situations, but almost never. The problem is actually the biceps tendon that goes into the joint. It actually attaches to the very top of the socket. So when you have a damage of the labrum, which is what it actually attaches to, or damage to the biceps itself, then you may need a biceps tenodesis. We'll go over specifically why you might need a biceps tenodesis, what are the symptoms, and what do we see in the rotator cuff, as well as the joint of the shoulder that would create a reason why we might need to do a biceps tenodesis or a biceps tenotomy. So the difference between a biceps tenodesis and a biceps tenotomy is very simple. So a biceps tenodesis means we're gonna cut the biceps and we're gonna reattach it somewhere else. And there's 3 places we can reattach it. We can reattach it arthroscopically, so up into the, kind of in the shoulder joint itself, just in front of the shoulder joint. So it normally attaches right here. So release it here, reattach it here. So that's arthroscopic reattachment. There's some pluses and minuses of why you may or may not want to do that. And we've gotten into that information from other biceps lecture, so please look for those in the YouTube channel. Down here, we can make a little incision in the front of the shoulder right about here, and we can do a suprapectoral. So this is the pectoral muscle, comes across here and attaches. So supra because it's above, we can do a suprapectoral biceps tenodesis, or we can do a subpectoral, right? Below the pec, a subpectoral biceps tenodesis. That's not so much important for this discussion today, because there's not really a clear study that says one is really superior to the others. So at this point, there's some kind of idea that probably a biceps tenodesis is better than a biceps tenotomy, because a biceps tenotomy is we just release it and we don't do anything with it. So the biceps comes down here, shortens itself, right? So it shortens itself and just gets stuck in the groove. There's a little groove in the front of your shoulder here called the bicipital groove. And there's a ligament over the top of it. So the biceps gets stuck in that groove and then heals in that groove. The problem with it healing in there is that it shortens. So it shortens probably about this much. It shortens and it gets stuck and it heals. And for the most part, it can be okay. However, why is it not as good as if we were going to do a biceps tenodesis? Well, there's 3 reasons why it's not as good. 1, Cosmesis. What does that mean? Well, when you have the biceps, right, you have this, and actually what you have is you're gonna have more of a big bump here because it's gonna shorten down. So I already have a little gap here, just naturally for whatever reason. If I had a biceps tenotomy, this bump would actually even be bigger, and it would just be really short and bumpy, and people call that the Popeye deformity. I'm not really sure why they call it Popeye deformity, because Popeye didn't actually have that. Popeye had really big forearms, but Popeye didn't have a big biceps, so I'm not sure. But anyway, it's called the Popeye deformity, and so that can be concerning to people, especially for your younger person, skinnier person, more easy to see that biceps tenodesis, or the biceps tenotomy, Popeye deformity. So that's 1. So that's, may or may not be important. But 2, because of that Popeye deformity, because of that shortening of the biceps, we also get cramping. And so sometimes that cramping can be chronic and can last a long time. Many times it's not chronic. Many times it's just, it takes time for the biceps to get used to that new spot, but it can be chronic. So that's one thing. And lastly, we have the biceps supination. So supination means to bring your palm up. So if you're gonna supinate, you bring your palm up, and if you bring your palm up, you see your biceps actually contract. If you do it, you pronate, which is the other way, then it doesn't. Supinate, it does. So because the biceps is a different length, If we do a supination, we actually have less supination strength. Not so much flexion, but really supination. So those are the three things that we worry about if we just do a biceps tenotomy and not a biceps tenodesis. Now, that being said, if you're older, then maybe a biceps tenotomy is okay, right? If you're not particularly using your biceps a lot, you may not get cramping. If you're bigger and you don't have much of a biceps, you may not notice the Popeye. And lastly, if you're not supinating for force, then maybe it doesn't matter. The three reasons why the biceps tenodesis is better is because of the Popeye and the cramping and the supination power. So have a discussion with your surgeon. When you talk about what am I going to do with your biceps, you need to know what the plan is and be comfortable with that plan. Anyway, hope this helps. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next time. Thanks.